Well, this is our new project truck. What do you think of it?
It looks good, but we're going to have to fix it because to hear the sound.
It's got a lot of work to do, doesn't it? It's a little bit rough.
It's missing a gas tank. It's missing a gas part of the gas lid.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do a walkthrough and show everything that's missing or wrong that we've got to fix. The goal of this, though, is we want this to be our daily driver. This is going to commute back and forth to work, go pick a kid up at school, that sort of thing. So we're going to take this 30-year-old truck, or I guess 26-year-old truck to be exact, and we're going to turn this into a very reliable vehicle.
Yes.
This does have a 4.9 liter inline six in it, which is one of the more reliable vehicles from Ford.
And we have a spark plug.
It has 123,000 miles on it. We do this right, this vehicle will see 250,000 miles before anything really has to be done to this engine. It is running a 5-speed with the Mazda. It's the Mazda Type 5-speed transmission they put in these little half-ton trucks. While I wouldn't want to pull a trailer every day with it, it's wonderful for going back and forth to work. All right, well, let's go ahead and fire it up, and you can see what he's talking about the sound, though, because we definitely have some work to do.
Do you hear that?
Well, obviously, that does not sound like an inline six is supposed to sound.
Yes.
They normally run, they're internally balanced and normally run smooth and quiet. You can tell from that sound, it's probably got a vacuum leak. The plugs are definitely fouled out. Maybe a slight tick on a tappet in there. That's easy enough to deal with. We're going to go ahead and do an entire tune-up on it. All right, Morgan, you hear that sound coming out? That is very typical of an exhaust leak. Now look under here and you'll see what's going on. You see how somebody has actually cut a square out in front of the muffler for some reason?
Yes.
I'm not sure why. I've seen that done before when a catalytic converter was clogged, but I've never seen anybody cut the square out in front of their muffler. Because mufflers don't get clogged, mufflers rust out and come open. So we're not sure why that's done that way, but we're going to fix that too while we're in here. Okay, the first thing that we want to do with this truck, it's where I like to start my projects because I feel better about it, is get them running right.
Yes.
So we are going to do what I call a full tune-up on this truck.
Yeah.
We are going to be changing the oil. We are going to be changing the spark plugs, the ignition wires, the distributor cap, put a new radiator cap on since I don't know the history of it. That map sensor back here we're going to swap out. If you see it back there in the corner, those tend to go out in these trucks. We are going to change the O2 sensor, and we're going to change the fuel injectors because in these inline sixes, they're only about $9 a piece. And since I want this to be a reliable daily driver, we are going to do that. We're also going to change the fuel filter and the air filter.
Yep.
All right, and then if you notice, we definitely have body work. We're going to be working on the bumpers, which is fun in these chrome bumpers. We're going to get some of this repainted. All the metal's going to get reworked.
Guess how we're going to make it? Camouflage.
Okay. But then we're going to have to redo all the body work on it because I think every panel has at least one dent. So we're going to have to pull a lot of body and do a lot of body work. And we're going to show you on this series of videos every step of the way. Then we're going to prep it and we're going to do a paint job. Now we're going to build our own portable paint booth. And I'm going to show you how to do that. That way you can paint it. Because this whole series is to show you how you can do this right in your driveway. Right up to being completely restored. As we talked about, there is a gas tank missing under this truck. Is there not?
Yes. Someone took one gas tank.
This is a dual fuel tank truck.
Yes,
so we have the front tank, but we don't have the back tank. So we are going to be going to the salvage yard, and we'll have a section on that. And we're going to be finding a fuel tank and putting a new fuel tank in this truck.
Also, we have a junkyard.
Yep, we found a junkyard that has a F250 of the same year model there, which the parts should be interchangeable.
Okay?
And then one thing we also have is the tailgate is in really bad shape.
Yes.
So if anybody's ever tried to work on a kinked tailgate, that's a very difficult bodywork job.
Yeah.
So we're also at that salvage yard going to try to find us a good tailgate, because it's even if it costs us $100, that's cheaper than trying to straighten a kinked tailgate. One thing for the fun of it, on that exhaust leak that we've got to fix, since I've already got to cut off all that stuff anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put a through body exhaust in it. That way, instead of hanging under the vehicle, it'll have a nice clean line going through the side of the body. So we're going to show you how to do a spray-in bed liner right here in your driveway, as good as any spray-in bed liner you'll find commercially. Yeah. And that way this truck will be buttoned up on the outside. All right, Morgan, let's go to the interior and show them what all we have to do in the interior.
Yes.
So here we are in the interior of this truck, and honestly, for 26 years old, this isn't bad. We've got a little bit of loose trim over here.
Yeah.
So that needs to be glued down. The dash, though, is in great shape. We just need to armor all this. HVAC controls and the radio definitely need work. This has been caved in and the buttons are missing. The radio is basically a very amateurish looking install, and well, we can't have that. I mean, the gauge cluster's in great shape. All this is in good shape. We're going to put a seat cover on this seat just to make it look nicer. But the seat sits nice, it's not broke down. Morgan says it's very comfortable.
Yes, it is.
And one thing is, I don't like this shift knob. I mean, obvious reasons. I'll put a more factory looking one on there.
You never told me about that.
And we're going to also, and one thing we are going to add is this truck is a very basic instrument package, but it's manual. So I always like a tachometer on one of these. And I'm also going to add an eco gauge, which is just basically a manifold vacuum gauge that helps me tell what my fuel efficiency is like. So we'll be showing how to add a tach gauge and a eco gauge in a later part of this series. Other than that, one thing we are going to have to do is over here, if you notice, there's no door handle. You reach through to open the door right now.
Yes.
That needs fixed. But other than that, the interior, I think, just needs cleaned up, and it will look great. I mean, the door panels are in pretty good shape. Yeah. All right, Morgan, you see how this doesn't fit quite right? There's a gap here, and it overlaps here.
Yeah.
This thing happens, you get a lot of times these vents in these older vehicles that don't fit quite right. We're going to be showing how to actually fix this, change these window gaskets out. See how these are cracked?
Yeah.
And this is just typical of an older vehicle. Okay.
Yeah, it's just 26 years old. Of course, it's broken and stuff.
This is weather stripping. It's going to be cracked. So we're going to show you how to fix that. But we're going to show you how to make adjustments to these hinges to pull these vents in tight too. That way they don't leak in the winter or leak rain. Now this one came with these nice, pretty sport mirrors that Ford thinks are so special. I personally like the mirrors from about 4 years earlier. They're called Western Swingaways, and they have a bracket here. And I think they look a lot better. So on this truck, we're going to be swapping those out. And I'll show you how to use nutserts to put threads in this and everything like that. But we're going to do it all from right here in the driveway of the shop.